I think from the three speakers and also from all those and from the messages we just read, it is clear that the testimonials of the victims are very, very important. And now we will have a few of the victims, and they will, in a short period, in 3 minutes, tell you something about what they have experienced. And I will name the names, and I will ask you to come forward, first the first person, but then quite quickly the second person, because after this we will have the tea break. And the names are Mr. Ahmad Sayar, Mr. Masudolo Niazi, maybe I pronounce it wrong, I probably will, Mrs. Lona Wali, Mr. Eshan Waizi, and Mr. Nassim Ra. Okay, thank you very much. Start with you, and then I will ask, I think it's clear, the other persons to come forward. If you...
Dear guests and friends, please accept my greetings. My name is Ahmad Jan, and I don't speak English very well. If I make mistakes, please accept my apology in advance. I'm very glad to participate in this great seminar. 35 years ago, I was a small boy. And I will never forget the night that my father was taken from our home at midnight. He was taken by Khalqis and Parchamese gangs, a slave and ruthless regime who were created and brought to power by Russians. I was waiting for my father 34 years and always had the faith that he is coming back one day. But with around 5,000 victim list that were exposed and published by Dutch police last year, I found my father's name on that list. His name is at 4,630 position. When I saw his name, the hope that I had for his coming back, it just flew away, vanished, and is gone. My father was not a killer and not a criminal. He was a great man. He loved his people and his country. And he always wanted to serve his people and his country the best way that he can. Whenever I watch the skulls and bones of those victims on TV or on the internet or on the pictures, I ask myself which of those skulls or bones belong to my father. Maybe that one or maybe this one. And I ask again myself what kind of destiny had my father. Because those 5,000 victims, each of them became a martyr in very barbaric and brutal ways. Many of them, during the tortures, lost their lives. Others were shot, executed, and buried alive. So that's why I ask myself what kind of destiny had my father. Those 5,000 victims are just a small part of Khalqis and Parchamese crimes in our country. They killed a lot of people in our country. They killed our highly educated people. They killed our best politicians, best doctors, best engineers, best teachers, best poets, and best writers. Sorry. So, unfortunately, those killers and those torturers who killed and tortured our people without any regrets and without bidding apologies to the preservatives of victims, they live in European countries. They live in Holland and Germany, Denmark, Sweden, UK, and in the rest of European countries. And also they live in the Western countries. We, the preservatives of victims, we hope and we wish that these killers and torturers should be brought to court. This is my father. And be responsible for their crimes. We hope for justice we cannot get justice without the help of the International Court in The Hague. And we cannot get justice without the help of the European Court. So please help us. We don't want revenge. We only want justice. Because justice is our only hope, and we wish for it. At the end, I thank FAVON organization for organizing this great seminar, and I thank to all participants. Thanks again.
شروع به نام حق و عدالت. سلامتی و رحمت خدا نثار شما باد. بنده مسعودالله نیازی فرزند شهید دگروال دکتر نقیب الله نیازی میخواهم به نوبه خویش صدای خاموشان را بلند کنم. خواست وارثین هزاران شهید را به صدا درآورم. ما چه میخواهیم؟ ما وارثین شهدا چه میخواهیم؟ ما خواهان عدالت اجتماعی هستیم، نه انتقام. ما خواهان عدالت اجتماعی هستیم، نه انتقام. از 35 سال بدین سو در افغانستان ظالمانه خون میریزد و در حق انسان بی‌دفاع این سرزمین به انواع مختلف جنایت می شود. دلیلش عدم تحکیم عدالت و به محاکمه کشانیدن جنایتکاران و جلادان روزهای سیاه افغانستان است. آنان که با فاجعه ننگین و خونین 7 سال دریچه شکنجه، قتل و اختناق را باز کردند، شیرازه مملکت را شکستند و سالیان متمادی به جنایاتشان ادامه دادند و اینهایی که با ورود 8 سال حماسه ملت را خفه کردند و سالیان بدین سو با جنایاتشان به خونبهای قیام خودجوش ملت افغانستان خیانت کردند و آرمان ملت آزادیخواه را دارند نقش بر آب می کنند. در حقیقت ملت را از عقب به خنجر زدند. آری ای هموطن، باز هم بر من و توست تا برای تحکیم عدالت دست به هم دهیم و دین خویش را من حیث انسان مسئول ادا نماییم. زیرا ما متیقنیم که عدالت ضامن امنیت است، امنیت ضامن صلح و صلح ضامن سعادت و ترقی نسل بشر است. بنان سکوت در برابر گورهای دست جمعی، روستاهای هموار شده با بم و سکوت در برابر چشمان ناامید یتیمان و بیوزنان گناه پنداشته می شود. گناه. لیست افشا شده برای ما پیام کلیدی دارد و آن این که افراد جامعه ما با دیدگاه ها و بینش های مختلف که داشته‌اند با وسیله یک گروه جنایتکار به شهادت رسیده‌اند و در هر دور از زمان این یک گروه وجود دارد. پس هرگاه ما واقعا خواهان تحکیم عدالت هستیم و می‌خواهیم تا این جنایتکاران به محاکمه کشانیده شوند، باید با هم فراتر از سلیقه ها و علایق سیاسی و اندیشوی خویش روی این یک اصل، پیگیری پروسه تحقق عدالت کار کنیم تا با تطبیق عدالت صلح را پایدار سازیم. مسئله نقض حقوق بشر در افغانستان پهن و گسترده است، چنانچه بخش‌های زیاد آن که مربوط عقب ماندگی جامعه می شود، جلوگیری آن زمانگیر و پروگرام‌های طویل المدت خودش را ضرورت دارد و با حاکمیت صلح وابسته است. اما مسئله جنایتکاران جنگی و عاملین شکنجه و اختناق یک موضوع جداگانه بوده که ما هم از هر کجای کره زمین با وسیله امکانات روز می توانیم آن را پیگیری نماییم تا عدالت تطبیق، صلح برقرار و زمینه برای عموم پروگرام های حقوقی فراهم شود. در اخیر پیشنهاد بنده در رابطه این است که ما نباید با گردهمایی سال 1 یا 2 بار بسنده کنیم. پیگیری پروسه تحقیق و عدالت ایجاد مرکز تحقیقاتی و حقوقی را برای افغانستان می کند و این مرکز بر علاوه این که وسیله خوب پیگیری پروسه تحقق عدالت خواهد بود و وضاحت را در این راستا ایجاد کرده و کار ما را ثمربخش خواهد ساخت. زیرا کشورک از 35 سال بدین سو میلیون ها قربانی داده و داشتن چنین مرکز در هر کجای از دنیا و بخصوص در اروپا ضرورت مبرم دارد. برای جنایتکاران میخواهم یادآور شوم که ما وارثین شهدا در بین آتش و خون که خلق شده شما جانیان بوده است رشد کرده ایم و از شما شناخت دقیق داریم و هیچگاه سکوت نخواهیم کرد تا قبل از محکمه آخرت شما را در این دنیا به محاکمه بکشیم. تشکر.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. However, I'm also a victim, but today I will remain anonymous and I will become the voice of a trembling person who has been kept prisoner for 10 years for his beliefs for freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nasim Rahrao and I live in the Netherlands. I was a political prisoner in Polichaki prison in Kabul from 1981 to 1991. During this time, I went through all kinds of physical and psychological tortures in the Sadara detention center of Hague and later in Polichaki. I was also witness to the torture of hundreds of other prisoners. I was part of a group of political activists struggling against the Soviet occupation and the puppet regime. 14 of my friends and comrades who were with me in the group were executed. They were, as you can see, Nader Ali Dehati, who was an engineer, Shapur Rohingpur, an economist, Muhammad Ali, an engineer, Anis Azad, a poet and a writer, Mirwais, also an engineer, Zubair Ahmad, engineer, Ahmad Zia, a lawyer, Dawood, an engineer, Naim Azhar, an economist, Siddiq Joya, a doctor, Abdul Wahid Rohingpur, also a doctor, Zamarai Siddiq, an engineer, Muhammad Amin, an engineer, and Ziaullah, an army officer. These educated young men had either been taken from their homes or from their place of work. I was taken from my home, and for 10 years my fate was in the balance. For 10 years I expected to be taken out and executed any minute. Every time the door of my cell opened, I expected to be called to execution. Every time I died and remained alive. As a victim and as a witness, I bear testimony to the uncounted crimes committed by the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan and Hague against the prisoners. I was witness to countless prisoners who were with me being taken out for execution. No one has yet answered for these crimes. Many of the people who committed these crimes live freely in Europe, including here in the Netherlands. As a living victim and witness, I ask for justice. I ask for justice for myself, for my friends who did not live to ask for it, for their families, and for all the people of Afghanistan. I want my children to believe that there is justice for the victims of crimes of the PDPA committed in Afghanistan. You can make it happen. We can make it happen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. By the name of all innocent victims of Afghanistan war, all Afghans are directly or indirectly being the victims of war. I am also one of victims who lost 2 members of my family, my 2 uncles. They were just 20 and 22 years old. They were killed by the puppet regime of People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan. They were imprisoned for 1 year. Later they managed to break the prison with some other inmates. They tortured and imprisoned didn't stop. The torture and imprisonment didn't stop their struggle against the puppet regime. They were participating actively in the war against regime. The intelligence of regime were active in cities and surrounding villages. After the prison break, the regime was in searching of them. Weeks and months, they were living in hideouts away from home and family. In those days, there were no communication technology. The father and mother were getting worried without knowing the whereabouts of their sons. And some villagers were coming with news that they were arrested by the regime. As you all know, that the parents are getting more worried about the well-being of their children than God. Moms were not in good health. At the time, she was refusing to eat her medicines day and night sittings by herself, asking that she wants to see her sons. Finally, after a few weeks, one night, as the darkness was covering the eyes of everything, but not the eyes intelligence which was on our home. Both brothers entered home through the back doors as mother saw her sons got up from bed and started kissing them. And the tears were coming down on her face. It was like it for everyone in home. The early morning the dog started barking unacceptably as the sound of tanks were echoing in the air. Regime loudspeakers was constantly warning and the helicopter was covering over the house. Both brothers decided that to go outside the house. The older brother was athletic and the younger was a bit chubby. He managed to get away from the regime tanks. The younger got shot by them. The older turned back to save his younger brother. Then he got shot was as well so. This is how I have lost two members of my family to this bloody war. I am not here that you should sympathize with me. I am here to seek justice for them and people who lost their loved one. Many of these people who tortured and killed innocent Afghans are currently living in Europe and all over the world. Long live the people who lost their lives for freedom. Thank you.